Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, as you could tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are talking about the best decks to climb within Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and we're doing things slightly differently. Here's the thing. I've already done the tier list. I've already made the video. Kind of. I've already done the rankings of the tier list, and the reason for this is because this meta I find to be in an interesting state. So we're going to discuss that, and we're kind of here. I'm just going to go and work my way from the top down, because understanding what is at the top and working our way down kind of tells you where everything else is. So we're just going to, I'm just going to scroll down here. And I have 4 decks currently at the top. All 4 of these are in order, and I do believe are a clear step above pretty much everything else. It's Vanquish Soul Canine, Yummy, Draco Tail, and Mitsu Ryzeal. All 4 of these decks are significantly more powerful than pretty much anything else that is currently out, and have the ability to basically beat anything else. Of course, they can lose, but they are, just generally speaking, way stronger. They have way more options, and just overall are just better than most other decks. Right now, I believe Vanquish Soul Canine is the best deck in the game, mostly because of the fact that it didn't really receive many nerfs within the most recent ban list, right? Draco Tail received some pretty hefty nerfs, Mitsu received some noticeable nerfs, and Yummy received some noticeable nerfs. That being said, Vanquish Soul Canine received a placebo hit that basically didn't change anything even remotely. So for the most part, nothing really changed. The only difference is that all of the other decks got hit, right? However, on top of that, it also received some better matchups in Cool Tune. Cool Tune is a significantly better matchup for Vanquish Soul Canine than something like Yummy, which is why Yummy has moved to that second place spot. Now, here's the thing. While Cool Tune is very popular, Yummy is worse. However, overall within the metagame, Yummy basically beats pretty much anything else and has a fairly decent matchup into Cool Tune. It actually doesn't play too poorly into Cool Tune. It can have some issues due to just a myriad of hand traps potentially being thrown at the Yummy player. But for the most part, I don't think it is like an auto win by any stretch of the imagination. At least for the Cool Tune player, right? And in fact, I would still say that it is a more even matchup than anything. Okay, that's disingenuous, but at the very least, it is not as bad of a matchup as people might let you on to believe. Right. Also, Yummy going first into that is really strong, so there's that. Even though it's like, oh, but like, you know, if they make RS Floodgate, right? The problem is that if you go second into a Yummy end board as the Cool Tune player, it doesn't really matter, because you're never realistically going to be able to make the RS. Maybe you can, but it's not going to be likely that you're going to be able to make the RS. Unless the Yummy player is just really bad, which can happen. Draco Tail is just a very, very powerful deck. It has a good matchup into the most recent Cool Tune deck, and I genuinely believe that it is just leagues above a lot of the other things, mostly due to the fact that it also still has access to triple mana, which means that it still has the ability to kind of make those big impactful plays on the opponent's turn. Not to mention all of the other things that it has going for it, the insane consistency, the ability to utilize the powerful trap cards to regenerate advantage, the consistent nature of the ability to reset all of those spells and traps and all of that jazz. It's just very nice. Also, Arthalion just being big right now is actually pretty impactful. Killer Tune doesn't really have a whole lot of big guys. They can make big guys, but they don't necessarily guarantee them. So there's that. On top of that, being able to play a bunch of hand traps is not necessarily a bad idea. And then Mitsu Ryzeal is Mitsu Ryzeal. It does heinous criminal combo things. And on top of that, it has the ability to break board with Engine. While, yes, theoretically it cares about the RS Floodgate style effect from Cool Tune, it's not really that important, because the Mitsu stuff really doesn't care almost at all. So, and so for the most part, I feel like it's not that big of a deal. And again, if you go first with this deck, you're going to have a significantly better time. So those are the top 4 decks. I think they are a step ahead. Moving on, Tier 2. here we have what I believe to be the next 6 good top-tier meta decks. We have ourselves Malice, which I do believe is the top of tier 2. Malice has the ability to play very well into a lot of these, both with engine and without, and most notably has one of the biggest combos out of any of these. It has one of the strongest end boards, is able to get there consistently, and it's just really, really powerful. Sure, the limitations do matter, but for the most part, it's still one of the top decks thanks to the Radiant Typhoon cards being added in, and the ability to still do all of the Malice end board. In a best of 1, it's very powerful. So, all in all, yeah, I think that Malice is absolutely worth it. That being said, after Malice, I don't think any of these are in a particular order. For the most part, I would say probably Killer Tune is next on the tier list, but I think all of these are of a similar power level. Here's the thing. Cool Tune, I said Killer Tune. Cool Tune is a powerful deck. The problem with Cool Tune is the fact that it doesn't necessarily have that great of a matchup into the current metagame. Specifically, K9. K9 is more or less still at full power, and if you see a K9 player, or if you play against K9 in pretty much any variant, you're just kind of getting destroyed. And the thing is, it doesn't really have any other exceptional matchups. Again, like Yummy, sure, but other than that, it's not great right now. It's missing a lot of its real oomph from Fidralis, right? So for the most part, I don't think it's well positioned currently in the metagame. It still has a lot of gas. It still has the ability to play the game fairly effectively. But yeah, as of right now, I haven't really seen the power that it needs to maybe usurp some of these other top decks. But also, if you look at the OCG, right, even with its more high-powered cards, right, Fidralis, Emergency Synchro, or Synchro Emergency, and what have you, even with the additional power that it has, it's still not better than post-banless Mitsu. And all of the other decks, Draco Tail, Vanquish All K9, and Yummy, have had significant nerfs and are still part of the metagame. So it's not like this is dominating the OCG. It's competitive, and it's one of the best decks. But even with that, it's not the best deck, and we are in a very similar style of format, just with higher-powered top-tier decks in that of the previous aforementioned. So, all in all, I don't think Cool Tune is bad. I think it's a great investment. I think it's very fun to play, and I understand why people are excited for it, but I'm trying to temper expectations. It's not bad. It's just not the best. So keep that in mind. Then Radiant Typhoon. Radiant Typhoon does heinous things, especially in a best of 1. Also, being able to search out MST is very fantastic, and it's a phenomenal engine. We have Gem Knight, a heinous combo deck that notably gets access to Herald of Orange Light, which is also why Yummy is up here. This is mostly Yummy Sulfur, but being able to have access to Herald of Orange Light makes both this deck and Gem Knight very powerful. Herald of Orange Light also being an extender for this deck is very nice. Luna Light, again, best of 1, very, very strong. Being able to push through opponents' boards through all of the, or due to the power of Heavy Poly and Liger Dancer and what have you. Also, Liger Dancer is just one of those cards where it's if you don't have the preparation for it, you just kind of die. So there's that. And then Orchist. Orchist has the very nice addition of being able to play through Droll very effectively, while also having access to the Fiendsmith engine and what have you. It's very strong, and generally speaking, it performs so well. I don't necessarily think that it is, I don't know, this might be probably the weakest. I feel like there's a bookend to tier 2 where it's Malice is the best of tier 2 and Orchis is probably the worst of tier 2, but everything else in between can kind of shift around. But all in all, I do think that all of these are a significant step above everything else. As you can see here, I have a Void tier, which is basically, look, nothing is tier 3 right now. And I think there is such a big gap between these top 10 decks, which, by the way, top 10, there's a lot of decks that you could play right now. But out of these top 10 decks, I think there is a massive divide between pretty much everything else. So here I have pretty much everything else, as you can see. I have put some decks into Rogue tier. I think all of these here are competitive enough to actually keep up and to generally take games, but are still such a significant drop down from the from the rest, right? We have like the Spellcaster slop and Blue Eyes and what have you, as well as I believe Sky Striker is probably the best positioned in the current metagame. I don't think it's great, mostly due to the fact that playing into established boards right now is not exactly a great idea, and Dear Lanta, Sky Striker does not have a good end board to end on. It does okay, but it's not obscene by any stretch of the imagination. It's just okay, right? That's pretty much it, right? RB I also put up here. I'm not entirely sure where this will land, right? One of the things that I noticed when I was looking at RB's results is that basically every single one of its tops came due to the addition of Orchist, or no, that was it. It was just Orchist. So RB I don't think is necessarily a terrible option, but again, it's kind of that like blind second style strategy that RB wants to utilize, and it's not really great right now, mostly due to just the sheer power level of some of the end boards, like Yummy end board, Mitsu end board, Malice end board, Vanquishful Canine end board, and the ability to play out of the hand with a lot of these decks. Yeah, it's just not great for RB. So there's that. I also put Crystron in here. Crystron Canine's issues, I don't know. Crystron Canine could potentially be like the one deck that's in the quote-unquote void. I don't think it's as good as any of these, but just simply due to the nature of how common Cool Tune is, it could potentially be there. But I feel like there's just that significant divide between some of these other decks. But you could potentially put Crystron up here as well. And to be fair, I think Rogue, anything below like this tier, I haven't fully thought about or gone through and picked, right? I just picked some of the things that I think are in that tier, right? Like Magnets and what have you. But again, all of these kind of pale in comparison to the top decks up here, just in terms of win rate, in terms of ability to like win games and like help you climb and what have you. So there are my general thoughts. If you have any specific concerns about a specific deck, let me know, right? Because here's the thing. You're probably going to see this as the full tier list, and you're going to go, there's no way X deck is in everything else. It's significantly better than that, or in Rogue, or whatever it may be. And the thing is, you got to remember, it's not so much that these are bad decks, it's the fact that the top end, specifically these four, are so much better than everything else that it makes everything else worse. If you play against any of these top four decks, these are going to have just a rough time. It's not that Duel is bad, it's that everything else is just so much stronger. And we have such a high power format currently in Master Duel that a lot of the Rogue tier decks are kind of being pushed out, right? So that's why I wanted to make this like video and talk about it this way, is because, again, all of these decks, like I still think that Sprite and Memento and Man and Snake Eyes and all of these other style of decks are still very strong, but it's just that they have kind of been pushed out by the higher power levels above them. That's pretty much it, right? And I do think that, you know, if you were to remove tier 1 here from the rest here, and you were to remove it from the metagame, I do think that the metagame would kind of figure itself out, and a lot more decks would kind of move up and move around. But basically, you know, if you just remove these top four decks, the game would be a lot closer in power level. But I do think that because of the nature of these cards and these decks having a good matchup into these top decks, as well as just like these four just really pushing out a lot of the other decks, that I do feel like there's that big divide. That's generally what I wanted to talk about. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? I've just noticed this with like my own gameplay and with like seeing some of these decks, right? Having played a lot of these other decks, it's just like there's such a big divide, it feels like. And yeah, that's basically it. Hopefully you guys found this interesting at the very least. Again, let me know down below if you agree or disagree, or what your thoughts are on this metagame. I will say, as much as this may kind of look bad, I actually think this format's really, really good, and I think it's really fun. So I'm just kind of telling you what it is. I think the Cool Tune edition is actually really good for the game. I was originally skeptical, but I think it's pretty good for the addition to the metagame overall. I think it's just really popular right now. It's kind of frustrating to just play against it over and over and over again, but for the most part, I'm enjoying the metagame. I think it's really fun. This is the most fun I've had in Master Duel for like the entirety of the game, right? Since like, I don't know, since probably Draco Tail came out, this has just been like the most fun Master Duel has been. So I'm having a good time. That's all. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, I like it very much. So appreciate it. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.